I've been developing software since 1985. I developed a program for Lottery Players magazine. My dad used to play the same tickets every week, and he used to fall asleep manually doing the tickets before the machines would check it for you. So he played the same number, so I used to put it on a floppy disk and check for him. And I decided I was going to put that into for an ad called Lottery Players magazine. And as I was calling in the ad, the person that was taking the ad over the phone for the classified says, "Wait a second, are you telling me that you have a software that knows the complexities of the lotteries for all 50 states, and it'll check winning tickets?" And I said, "Yeah." And when I demoed the software for him, he negotiated with my dad and bought the software for $25,000. That day, I think I became an entrepreneur and a software developer. I went to New York Institute of Technology. I studied computer science. I was the smartest kid in my class when it came to calculus, algebra, trigonometry, and not only that, I loved it. There's a situation like when I was going to school in 1984, it was, the fall of my graduating year. They were taking the math professors and sending them to Stony Brook University and giving them crash courses on becoming a computer programmer, sent them to the universities, and then they had to come and they had to teach a curriculum. And then compare that to a kid like me who was programming on his Commodore VIC-20, and I had 3 years of programming experience over my professor in high school. 2 weeks into the class, he says to us, "Here's extra credit ready by when you come back from the Christmas holiday." And he says, "I want you to create a software program where somebody puts an input of a Roman numeral and it exports the decimal value." Now, I have to tell you, that's pretty complex. So this kid here, Mike Filsaime, goes home on his Commodore 64, and that night, I cracked that problem. Back then, when you went into school, your computers were on a mainframe. So I had to take this program, print it out on my printer, dot matrix printer, get to school. Class is starting in 15 minutes. My hands are shaking and they're kicking me out of the class. "Come on, Mike, we gotta go." And I've got to get this program in. I can't even do a save. That's not how it worked in the computer world at school. What I had to do is I had to do a print test. I had to put the test in, and I had to print my source code and then show that it actually worked. And proud like you can't believe. Like you can't believe. I walk in to the class, whatever fourth period it was or whatever, and I walk up to the teacher and I hand him the printout and the source code. And I got to tell you, I've got a smile on my face like I can't wait to show you Groove pages today. I'm like glowing. And I'm like, literally you could picture me going, impressed, right? And he says to me, just like this, "Where did you get this?" And I said, "I programmed it last night." And he goes, "Yeah, and who helped you?" And I said, "What are you talking about? I did this myself." And he goes, "Do you know it took me 30 days to figure out this problem? You're telling me that you figured this out overnight, came in this morning, printed this thing, and I'm going to stand here and believe that you did this." And I said, "Mr. Weston, I did 100%. I'm not even kidding you. I thought you'd be proud." And he said to me, "Well, explain to me what's going on here." And I'm going to geek talk. I said, "Well, what you have to do is you have to turn the input character into a string. And then you do something like a left string and a mid string. And then you have to add the characters. And I have an algorithm that says that if the left string is great," and I pretty much spit out exactly what it was. "You couldn't have taught me that." And he goes, "So you're saying you wrote this?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Okay, A+. I dropped out of college after 3 years. I never graduated. My dad owned a car dealership. He wouldn't give me a job. He said, "No, I want you to start from the bottom." I went and I got a job at a Hyundai dealership and started my career. You ask, "Okay, but Mike, why are you known as a marketer?" I'm not. I'm confused as a marketer. I am a software developer that knows marketing very, very well. The reason why I tell you this is I want to let you know who I am in my DNA. Like, what am I? I am a whiteboard, logic, solve a problem, passionate about processes and mind maps and user interfaces and technology. I was the guy in the car business telling everybody we need to put a computerized inventory system in. So that's who I am. And when I started realizing that you can do this stuff online, I became a marketer. But if you look at everything that I've ever done, it's been software. John REESE wrote a report that inspired me to take my software and make $1 million day out of it, $1 million brand. I registered the domain name Butterfly Marketing. At the time, I was fascinated with chaos theory and the butterfly effect. Small changes can have these huge results. And I registered the domain name Butterfly Marketing, and I hired a programmer. And on August 31st of 2004, I set out to do $1 million day. And on January 31st of 2006, we launched, and we did $540,000 that day. And in 4 days, we did $1 million. There have only been let's say 11, it could be 14, but just bear with me, humans to ever walk on the moon, ever walk on the moon. They've all been from the United States. No other person from any other country has ever stepped on the moon. The first person to do it was Neil Armstrong. The second person to do it was Buzz Aldrin. When John Reese did it, he was Neil Armstrong. I was Buzz Aldrin. And to this day, I'm still Buzz Aldrin. It helped my career in more ways than I can explain. Groove Pages and Groove Funnels is very, very special. Anything that can be done on a web page today can be done with our builder.